Hey everybody, how you doing? It's April 29th, Wednesday, hump day, and I had a couple of friends say, hey, how come you haven't cooked anything in a while? And truth be told, I cook for friends and family and I like to feed them, and so when there's no one around because we're sheltering at home, it's not as much fun to cook. So but this morning, and I first should apologize for my appearance. I went for a dip because it's 90 degrees out, and thought I would make some lunch. And I found at the store the other day in my adventures in grocery shopping some beautiful asparagus that I have washed thoroughly and chopped up into little 1-inch or so pieces. And if you don't work with fresh asparagus, people sometimes ask, how do I know how much to take off? Because this side is very woodsy. When you snap it, the part that needs to go will snap off. See? And it's usually the bottom third is what is not as edible because it's tough and woodsy. So anyway, I'm making asparagus risotto. Fairly easy, as long as you have some basic staple ingredients in the house. So I'm going to tell you very quickly what I've got going on so that I don't make too long of a video, okay? I have some vegetable stock on the stove simmering, a quart. To it, I added 2 cups of water because you can kind of thin it out a little bit. If you want to use chicken stock, you can use chicken stock. This one is a truly vegetarian dish today, so if you use vegetable stock, you're fine. In my big skillet, I have 3 tablespoons of butter and 3 tablespoons of olive oil that I've melted and heating my pan right here. I have chopped up a a large shallot, very fine. If you don't have any shallots, you can use a half of an onion, that's fine too. I also have risotto rice. Risotto rice basically means short, fat little rice, not long grain rice. So you can use this, which is called carnaroli, or you can use arborio. Most of the stores carry it, but it works better for risotto. So this is 2 cups worth. I'm going to add some lemon zest at the end. I have a wedge of Parmesan cheese to add at the end. Of course, some salt and pepper for seasoning. And then I thought, since I happen to have some creme fraiche in the fridge, because what are we, savages? I'm going to add a little dollop of that at the end to make it very rich and luxurious. So now I'm going to start, and I'm going to try to do this on an angle so that you can see what I'm doing. But basically I'm going to start by putting my shallot or onion in there. The reason that your broth is simmering on the stove is that when you cook risotto, you keep adding the liquid to it. That's the premise of cooking risotto. You slowly add the liquid until the rice absorbs it. If you add cold liquid, it stops cooking each time. So you want hot liquid, warm liquid, so that it doesn't stop the cooking process. So I have the liquid just on a simmer here on the stove. And you don't really want to brown the onions, you just want to get them kind of translucent. In this case, the next thing is I'm going to add my rice to this and give it a good stir. Let it come together and just let that saute in the pan for half a minute or so, maybe a minute. Get it all mixed together nicely. Then to that, I'm going to add a pinch of salt. This is kosher salt. I pretty much only cook with kosher salt. And a couple of turns of black pepper. And if you happen to have some, now is the time that you would add a little white wine to this before you start adding the rest of your liquids. I happen to have a bottle of Sauvignon Blanc open, so I'm gonna hit my risotto with a little splash. And I need to give the flame up a little bit higher. It needs to dance a little more here. There we go. So here we are. Just needs to get a little bit warmer. I don't know why I had the flame on. I'm so afraid of this stove because it's really powerful, and if I'm not careful, I'll burn or have it on too high a temperature. I've had to get used to how strong this particular stove is. So, okay, now we're ready. So I'm going to just, hear that sizzle? Oh look, there's just enough left for me to go with my lunch later. So let me put that away, and already the wine is evaporating, and you can smell it, and it smells wonderful. Okay. There we go. So next, if I were making a different risotto, like something with shrimp or mushrooms, I wouldn't add them till later in the cooking process because I don't want to overcook them. But the asparagus is going to take a little bit longer to cook, so I'm going to add the asparagus earlier in the process. But now my wine is all cooked out, and I'm going to add my first ladle of stock, maybe two. There we go. And risotto takes about 20 minutes to cook, or as long as it takes a rice kernel to cook. It's very relaxing. You know, you can pour yourself a glass of wine or anything and stir your risotto. It's kind of a zen kind of, it's kind of like when you make bread, you know, you kind of get in the zone. But it really doesn't take that long. And it really should be eaten fairly soon, right after you cook it, because it's fine the next day, but it will absorb a lot of the liquid and the consistency will change, but it's still good. So it doesn't take long for each ladle of liquid to be absorbed, but you want to keep stirring. And I'm going to add my asparagus now because I want them to get fully cooked by the time the rice is cooked. So I want them in there now. I'm going to go in for a couple of more ladles of liquid right now and keep stirring. And there we go. And I'm going to keep doing that for another probably 15 minutes, and then when it's just about done, I will come back and show you what that looks like. Okay, we're back. So the risotto has been cooking for a little over 20 minutes or so. I've used up all the last of my cooking liquid, and now I'm just going to finish it off with a few final things. First, I'm going to put some lemon zest, because the lemon zest gives it a really bright, fresh flavor. It's not going to taste like lemons necessarily, but it does give it a little zing. Okay, there we go. And then the last of my liquid is being absorbed. I tasted the rice. It's done, but not soggy, not mushy, just right, just like how you cook pasta. I tasted it for seasoning, and I added just a little bit more salt and pepper. Perfect. And now I'm going to, as I mentioned, put some on top and some as in the pan here, but I've got a wedge of fresh Parmesan cheese that I'm going to If you have already grated, that's fine, either one. And then I'm going to put a little bit more on top. So I'm going to let that stir up together like so. And I'm going to show you what this looks like. You know, I miss my friends, I miss my colleagues, I miss my family, so I wish I was cooking this pot of risotto for all of you. And if that were possible, I would do it in a heartbeat. Creme fraiche, which is kind of like cream cheese, kind of like sour cream, but not really. It's just wonderful. You can use it in cooking in a wonderful, lots of different ways. I'm just gonna put a big old dollop of creme fraiche into my risotto. Again, because I had it and because it's just gonna give it another cool flavor. Okay, I'm gonna turn this off. Give it a final stir. If you don't have or don't want to put the creme fraiche in, I would recommend that just at the very end you take another little knob of butter and finish it with that, because it gives it a beautiful glossy sheen, and it's quite delicious. So I'm going to show you. I only have one camera and no operator today. My husband is not here. So I'm going to show you what the consistency and what this risotto should look like. I'm going to grab a couple more little asparagus there to make it pretty. Okay, so here's asparagus risotto, and then I'm going to just give it another little shredding of Parmesan on top, and there you go. I hope everybody's well, staying safe, and we'll see each other very soon. Love you all. Bye.